On the last episode of Mach 1 Barbell Coaching Cues, Coach Patrick and Coach Jason went over common mistakes for the snatch and how to fix them. We laughed, we learned, but there are still many more lifts to correct. Stay tuned to find out what's in store on the next exciting episode of Coaching Cues.
Hey guys, welcome to episode 2 of Coaching Cues. If you didn't check out our last episode, we went over some common mistakes in the snatch and some exercises that you could implement into your warm-up to fix it. So today, and Coach RJ and myself are gonna go through some things you could do for the clean. Same thing, we're gonna address some common mistakes that we see with our athletes and what you could implement into your warm-up to fix it.
Hey guys, so our first tip, starts from the floor. Both the snatch and the clean and jerk initially start from the ground, and we need to have the proper mechanics from the floor to initiate the lift.
To facilitate that good bar path, what we're going to be talking about is making sure that as you're going from the floor either to your clean catch position or your snatch catch position, you still want a vertical bar path from the floor up. So a lot of that comes from making sure that you're keeping your lats tight and your feet rooted into the floor. So the exercise that we're going to show you that you can implement will help you to correct that automatically.
Okay.
Right, we want to create that innate sense of generating lat tension and creating that stability from the floor. All right, guys, so after you've untangled your band, which if you keep it in a bag like we do, it takes forever to untangle, like a crappy headphone wire or something. So once you finally unravel the band, you don't want to get anything too tight of a tension. We're going to do something called an RNT Clean pull. So RNT, it stands for reactive neuromuscular training. Basically, that's a fancy way of saying feedback. Okay, so I'm going to create a feedback for RJ to react to as he's doing his clean pull, and that's going to facilitate him doing or creating more lat tension. So actually, before I do that, can you demonstrate for us exactly what we're trying to correct? So RJ is going to go through his clean pull, and you're going to see from the side angle, back might be rounding a little bit, and then the bar is going to get a little further away. So that would be kind of like an over-exaggeration of what it would look like. Exactly. Can I show it? Can you try to demonstrate a bad rep that we might see in the gym normally? Right, and then, so that was actually exactly what I was thinking of is when you pull up and you don't get under it, that's commonly referred to as a Clarked lift, and that'll often happen if that bar path trajectory is off, it's way too far in front of you, and you either have to jump after it or you're trying to jump back behind it, right? So that's the kind of stuff we want to avoid. So we're going to take the band and we're going to loop it through the barbell, right into the middle, and you can either grab a friend, you can hook this and anchor this up to a post or a heavy kettlebell, whatever you got. So you're gonna have that band anchored right out in front of you, and you're gonna come down, you're gonna go through that clean pull. Okay, so at your starting position, so before you start, you're gonna wanna make sure that you're rooting your toes into the floor, grabbing the ground. Now you're keeping those lats tight as I pull, especially this works really well with a friend. RJ is resisting me pulling this band towards or away from him, okay? So I'm pulling this back, and even though it's a light band, that's creating a lot of tension in your lats, right? Absolutely. Yeah, so you don't need a ton. So now as you go through your first pull, your transition, and your second pull, you're getting this feedback from the band to keep those lats nice and tight. And you shouldn't do it necessarily dynamically like I just did, but you wanna just keep that constant tension on there, and that'll be enough. Go through a couple reps with the band on, and then let go of it. No, kidding. But then you want to release it, and then go through a couple of reps without the band, and notice the change, right? So now that RJ's lats are fired up, now when he's going through it, his body is just going to be fine-tuned to firing off his lats as he's going through the pull. So now, that the lats are warmed up and he gets into his working sets, those muscles are firing off, those motor units are being recruited, so now he's going to set himself for a more successful lift. All right, so common mistake number 2 that we see in the clean is actually using some sort of cleaning device like a Swiffer to get rid of all the bacteria on the bar. Unfortunately, as safe as a precautionary measure as that is, that's going to be minimally effective in getting the weight to your shoulders and getting PRs. So, do this after you're done lifting to make sure that the next person who uses the bar isn't, touching your hand bacteria, but don't do this on the lifting platform at AO Series in Salt Lake City because you will miss a lift. I don't know who those imposter coaches were, but that were spreading shenanigans about actually cleaning the barbell. We don't do this here. Let's get into our actual second common mistake for the clean, which is going to be pull transition. So what are we talking about? We're talking about transitioning over the knees as we're pulling, right? So it's important, like we just talked about, to establish a good amount of lat tension to keep the bar close, but we need to teach our bodies and teach ourselves how to move around the bar as opposed to moving the bar around the body. That's going to create a more effective leg drive through the floor, and it's going to create more successful lifts. So let's talk about exactly what we're looking into. So if this is you, if you're the person that is banging the bar into the hips, getting it up to the shoulders, super common mistake for beginners, especially if you learned how to deadlift or kettlebell swing first. This can be a super tough transition to make, pun intended on the transition part. But we're gonna get into exactly what we're talking about. So RJ was gonna demonstrate what it looks like to bang the hips as you're pulling. So you can show a couple different points. Like we see people banging their hips either at the mid-thigh or even really high at the hips. So you can see how, like, if you were to go through with that clean, how ineffective that would be, because that's going to force you to bring the bar out in front and then pull it back into you, as opposed to just making it nice and smooth like we were previously talking about in the last common mistake of a good vertical bar path. So that banging of the hips is what we want to avoid. What we want you to visualize is think about brushing the thighs as you're transitioning over the knees. So RJ, can you demonstrate what it looks like to go through a good first pull, getting up to that below the knee position first? Because that's going to be really important too. So the hips are going to rise and the shins are going to get vertical. The toes are still grabbing the floor. And notice if you stop right there, his chest angle stayed the same. It's his hips and knee angle that slightly were modified, but that chest angle, shoulders over the bar, that all stayed the same the whole time. So going through it, and then as you pass the knees, you want to keep that lat tension as you scoop the hips under the bar. So when that hip scoop is happening, you're not pushing the bar away from you, and you're not necessarily pulling it too far into you, forcing yourself too much on the heels. You're keeping it in place and you're moving your body under the bar to get into that power position, which is, not fully locked out. Can you show us the power position really quick? Yeah, right there. Nice upright chest. So now he's ready to go through his shrug pull and it goes straight up. Okay, so what are some exercises that you can do to facilitate better movement patterns for this? Okay, so what we're going to be showing you now is called the 3-position clean. Okay, so what are the 3 positions? It's going to be at the hips. So you show us that power position again. So that's the first position. The second position is going to be at that middle point of the pull, so right above the knee. Show us that really quick, RJ. And depending on where you feel like you need more or less work, you could even make that second position below the knee as well. So you could do an above the knee hang clean or a below the knee hang clean, right? You can mix it up depending on, where you feel like your common mistakes are. And then that third position is going to be from the floor. RJ has empty bar right now, so we're going to go about mid-shin to emulate where the bumper plates would have the bar. So now you're going to put all the pieces together with that third position. So RJ, can you give us a demonstration of top to bottom what a 3-position clean looks like? Money. That looks really good. So practice that and definitely record yourself so you can see at what point or at what positions you feel or you see yourself messing up the most at, and harp on that position more. And that'll help you out in fixing that hip bang. All right, moving on into our third and final common mistake we're going to be addressing today for the clean, and that's going to be timing the catch. Okay, so the mistake that we commonly see when it comes to timing your catch position is either over pulling it or over muscle pulling or muscle cleaning it to your shoulders and not knowing how to smoothly transition the elbows under the bar. So what we want to talk about is addressing the timing of not only getting under the bar, but that scoop of the elbows to catch it on the shoulders and across the collarbone. So what we're going to do is we're going to demonstrate it, what the common mistake is, as we have been. In addition, we're going to show you some exercises that you can do that'll help you with your timing. Let's get right into that. So before we get into faulty catch positions, the first thing that we got to establish is making sure that you're doing a hook grip. So how do we get into a hook grip? Arj is going to come down and bring the bar to his knees. And if we're showing it to you from the back, you're going to wrap your thumb horizontally across the bar, and then you're going to pull the thumb into the bar with your first 1 or 2 fingers. What you should feel is pushing the fingernail into the barbell, not ripping the thumb joint out of the socket. So you don't want to over pull. It shouldn't hurt in your thumb joint. If anything, you should just feel discomfort in the thumbnail. Then you stand up and the bar should just be resting on that thumb with your knuckles down, and that's it. All right, so now that we've addressed your hook grip, make sure that you're using your hook grip. A full grip on the clean can lead to muscle cleaning without even intention. Even if your form is really, really good, the hook grip just makes it a lot smoother and easier to transition into a good clean catch. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to show you exactly what an over pull would even look like, and then we'll get into exercises you could do to implement to help fix that. So RJ, let's see an over pulled clean. Transition looks good. Good. So you see how he pulled the bar. The bar actually went above shoulder height and then crashes down on the body. So that crashing down sensation and action is what we want to completely avoid. So the exercise that we're going to teach you today to help that is going to be a clean pull under. So what you're going to do is you're going to start from the bottom position of your clean. As you're pulling through the movement, when you feel the weight in the bar as you bring those elbows up through your high pull, then you're going to drop under it. So when you feel that peak amount of tension in that high pull position, and trust us, you'll feel it, that's when you're going to want to drop under the bar and point your elbows forward and punch them out under the bar and catching them on the shoulder. So let's see that again. Pulling through, feel the weight. Good. So that's exactly what we're looking like. Let's see one full speed, so where you exactly feel that point of tension, because we don't want to pause at the top. As soon as we feel that tension, then you pull through, right? So this is a really, really good drill that you could practice. We recommend doing it with an empty bar or really, really lightweight, just because it's a timing drill. It's just about feeling the movement out. So practice that, and that should help you wonders as far as timing your clean catch. Guys, that is it for today's video. We went through our 3 common mistakes for the clean. Hopefully you got something out of this video that will help you to fix your lifts. So if you did, make sure to leave a thumbs up, leave a like on the video. Let us know down in the comments below which of these common mistakes addressed your problems the most and how are you going to fix it. Make sure to subscribe to the channel to see more videos like this, and we'll see you guys in the next one. Boom!